Yeah. You have to tell me how.
Are you ready? So, good afternoon. Welcome everyone here. I'm Bill Carnick. I'm the director of Electric City Innovation Center. That's located here at ECIC. We've been open for a little bit under a year. We started in March. This is really a center for creatives, entrepreneurs, technical people to co-work, to establish businesses together. And so we're very excited to be part of this new initiative around film in Schenectady. So with that, welcome to the afternoon's agenda. I'd like to introduce Debby. Please go on.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Well, I first have to say congratulations to Schenectady because you guys are moving and grooving. So I always am intrigued by the new businesses. I work with TransFinder. They have meetings in Albany, and so it's really, I mean, Proctors and this space, it's very cool. So I know that it's only just the beginning, and congratulations to all of you here in Schenectady. Film Albany is proud to again be a sponsor of the third edition of the Capital Cinema Cultural Exchange Program to be held this year in Albany and Schenectady, September 22 to 25. And what makes this event unique is not only the first time collaboration between the two cities, but the collaboration among emerging filmmakers. During this event, they will have access to industry panelists, veteran producers, and others in the field on how movies impact our current culture. And another very special happening with the lab is the opportunity for the attendees to visit the New York State Film Archives at our 180-year-old New York State Museum, which is home to a very rare collection of movie scripts. We don't want the partnering to stop with the lab. We want our local filmmakers to keep their projects right here and for the Capital Region to be invited to many other productions. Governor Cuomo has really made filming in New York State, and especially upstate New York, a priority, and the New York State Film Tax Credit Program has really turned our state into a global destination for film and television. There's productions that are coming to New York in record numbers and creating an economic surge with billions of dollars invested and thousands of film industry jobs created and sustained in New York. In 2015, 202 film and TV projects applied to participate in the Film Tax Credit Program. It was estimated to generate 188,000 new hires and $3 billion in new spending for New York State. So we want a little piece of that pie up here in New York State. In 2016, this is year to date, 89 film and TV projects have submitted applications to the program and are estimated to generate almost 105,000 new hires and $1.5 billion in new spending. So it has been proven time and time again, the film industry impacts our Capital Region economy in terms of local jobs, earnings, and spending, as well as tax revenue. So cheers to Mike and everybody else at the 2016 CCCE, and we're looking forward to another successful event.
Thank you.
Oh, Joe, would you like to? Yeah, oh, sure.
Oops, the mic fell down. Oops, we'll put it right back. Hello everybody, Joe Piazzo from Film Schenectady. I want to thank everybody for coming. I mean, this is really great. As Debbie said, we're extremely excited to be sharing this program and working with Film Albany and the Capital Region in general and try to promoting this industry in this area. When I first started talking to people about the Film Commission to reignite it with Nick Barber and a number of other people, someone met me once and they said, and I was telling them about what we're doing, and they said, well, what does Schenectady have to do with film and video stuff? I mean, why would anybody want to shoot here? And it occurred to me that people really aren't aware of the history that was here. If you look right over there, there's a sign. It's not lit up today because it's daytime, but that's the General Electric Corporation. In 1928, the first dramatic television broadcast in history came out of that building. It was originally from the WGY studios, which later became W2XB, which is one of the first experimental television stations in the world, which eventually evolved into WGBH, which is Channel 6, which is right over across the thing. We have a long legacy of television broadcasting and broadcasting history here. It is just one of the countless achievements in the history of broadcasting that the city of Schenectady can be proud of. But that glowing electric sign did more than just mark the spot of a company that helped build this great city. It was a beacon around the world that attracted the greatest minds, the innovative thinkers, the scientists, the craftsmen, the artists that helped make this city and this region. This was the Silicon Valley of the early part of the 20th century. When we formed Schenectady Film Commission, Film Schenectady, we were well aware of this legacy. Mayor Gary McCarthy from the beginning emphasized the need to think regionally, to be inclusive, and to understand that the upstate creative economy is really one massive economic engine that once started can produce enormous power if all the internet-connected parts work together. The motion picture, television, and media arts industry is just that, an industry with the potential for generating hundreds, or we found out thousands of jobs, and millions of dollars of economic activity to our region. But as with other growth industries upstate, and that is chip plants, casinos, nanotech, whatever you want, what we're growing here, those businesses just didn't happen here. They were opportunities that were made by investment and vision. One of the best ways to promote the city and the region at large is to bring filmmakers here. Show them what we have to offer, and it's not just locations, it's talent and crew and services. We have what movie productions need to produce their film in just about any size production, and it's here available in the capital region. The additional way extended to that to make this industry grow is to do what Mike Camoin is doing with the CCCE, and that is bring filmmakers not only here, but to foster them and to help them grow. We can grow an industry regionally here as much as we can attract from the outside thing. Film Schenectady's mission is to promote, facilitate, and foster motion picture production in the region. Hosting this program fulfills these goals, and we are excited to have CCCE come here, and we hope that we can help them in any possible way to have the best film lab workshop weekend ever. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe. I like Joe's signature look. I love the look. Anyway, so I just want to thank you again for coming today. I do think this is a very important initiative. I'm going to say the full name because I like acronyms, but sometimes you got to say it once, right? General Electric, then you can say GE. So the Capital Cinema Cultural Exchange, now I know why you say CCCE, is really an important initiative in the capital region. The organizers of the space have long understood, I think filmmakers, maybe even more than anybody else in the capital region, this idea, the need to collaborate. You know, we're starting to see it now with the chambers, you know, the Schenectady Chamber and the Colony AC Chamber merging. That was a big deal. I think the filmmakers got it earlier, that we need to work together. And so we're kind of taking our lead from you, frankly. It's starting to happen in other areas. I would say, you know, I had the privilege of being here, and this is a great space, ECIC. I work at another accelerator down the street called the New York BizLab, and you know, we don't see ECIC as competition. Well, maybe a little bit, you know, but just a little bit. But really, ultimately, we're really glad that ECIC is here. We think it's huge. I first met Michael Camoin. I looked in my archives, and I was 12 years ago, and I wrote a story when I was working for the Associated Press, for the Albany Business Review, and Mike just told me that he was the first video company in the RPI incubator program. And if you don't know, I just came from the RPI incubator. My intern and I were just there, and they had a major pitch event for their accelerator program. And I don't see RPI as competition either, maybe a little bit. But but the thing that's neat is just that the whole idea of collaboration. There's more and more collaboration happening than ever before, I think, in the capital region. And I think we just realized that we need to work together. And I think one of the greatest strengths we have at the BizLab, frankly, I mean, yes, I think we do have killer space, but I think more than that is the advisors that we put together. So we have very smart advisors. Even Ray is an advisor. So that's how smart our advisors are. You know, that they make themselves available, that they're willing to share their success stories, And almost equally important is their failures. Maybe think lessons hard, those hard lessons learned. Mike, have you learned some hard lessons too, the hard way? But these guys, these advisors come from all walks of life, and here's what I love. They're not loyal. So I have advisors from all over the Capital, and they're not loyal just to Troy, and they're not loyal just to Albany, and they're not loyal just to Saratoga Springs, and they're not even just loyal to Schenectady. But really, they see this place called Tech Valley as the place that great things can happen if we work together. And so the goal is to help us to allow our best and brightest graduate from our top schools in the area and not feel like they're making a compromise to stay here, but actually that they can have the best of both worlds. So that's why we're part of this initiative. We're excited and anything we can do to help. So thanks so much for putting this on.
Thank you. I want to thank Bill. Thank you for hosting us here at ECIC. It's a wonderful space. When Joe invited me down, it reminded me of my experience in lab settings that I had been to in Europe, in Rotterdam. I had the privilege of being invited to go to Russia, where I was there for 8 days. Actually 24 days, and you'll hear a little bit about that as to why this lab model came about. But it's a space like this that's open, that allows us, filmmakers and creative types, to continue to do what we do in an open, safe, comfortable space that a lab provides. As Rick talked about, it's the advisors that can help filmmakers hopefully not make that next mistake that they're likely going to make. It's a very tough industry. It's very tough to raise funding for any type of project today, and it's only gotten tougher. So the lab is the type of model that brings people together, and the synergy. I'm excited about what's going to happen, and I hope that you guys can all experience that at some point during the 4 days that we're here. I want to thank Debby for coming with Film Albany. You've been a partner of CCCE and also what I do up here in terms of helping me bring productions up here. I'm just coming off a really fun project that actually couldn't find the right location here, but it's out in Utica, and Utica's coming to the lab. So it's not just Albany and Schenectady, but you're gonna see people from Utica, Herkimer County, Oneida County coming, and I'm excited about that. So the capital region, I think, is the place that Upstate looks to. Joe, thank you again for reaching out to us. I know you're also a member of Upstate Independence Filmmakers Network. Steve couldn't be here, but they are one of our supporters as well. Just want to make sure I covered everybody. Just want to share with you what I think is I'm excited about. This opening was designed by Daria. Daria is from Kazakhstan. And one of the foundations of the lab is to invite filmmakers to come and enter into the United States to network with American filmmakers. And as soon as she heard that we accepted her film, her short film, which you'll learn a little bit more about, I think it's beautifully done. I'm excited to have it. She asked, how can I help the lab? So this is just one example of, I think, the cultural exchange. It's already started, and you just experienced it here, and she's just wonderful. So I want to thank all of our sponsors, the Linda, where we'll be the first 2 days, September 22nd, 23rd. Of course, here at ECIC, Film Schenectady, Film Albany, the Albany Marriott, TV Film, Archives Partnership Trust, the International Center of the Capital Region, are wonderful sponsors here, and we're open to attracting more sponsors as they start to get to know what we're doing and how it's going to be helpful to the filmmakers and to the Upstate region. I do have a statement I'd like to read from the Archives Partnership Trust.
New York State archivist Tom Roller expresses his regret that he was unable to join us today. He asked me to read this statement. The State Archives is very happy to partner once again with the Capital Cinema Cultural Exchange and support the Filmmakers Lab. We appreciate the focus the lab places on audience and all elements of better storytelling. We are especially grateful that this partnership provides a unique opportunity for us to expose filmmakers from near and far to our extensive collection of over 55,000 motion picture film scripts dating from 1921 to 1965. It is the largest collection of film scripts in the world and something we consider a world-class treasure. This partnership truly helps keep history alive and gives filmmakers a unique opportunity to learn from the past. And that's sort of where we start. We'll start at the Archives Partnership Trust. We take a field trip, and both local and foreign filmmakers get to experience one of a world-class treasure that's only here in the capital region. I don't know if you have ever heard about the term lab. There are obviously business labs, but it also applies to filmmakers. And it is a place where filmmakers get to connect with industry experts. They connect with other filmmakers, and they get to connect with an audience. Sometimes it's the first time, sometimes they're more veteran, but at every stage, you're a constant learner in this industry if you're going to continue. So people enjoy giving back. We've been hosting a number of screenings this year, starting with Chimes at Midnight, the Orson Welles film that was re-released at the early part of this year. And it was introduced by a colleague of Orson Welles, Larry Jackson, who happens to serve on our board. In April, we hosted the Icelandic film of Horses and Men, and Ingvar Sigurðsson visited with us. They're making an effort to come here because it's about having an audience, an American audience for a foreign film. In year two, director Susan Robbins brought her project to CCCE, and she states that it was about 50% done at that time. She came out of the lab with a few bits of information that was helpful, and she was able to go and complete that project, and it's screened in nearly 20 film festivals around the U.S. So we're really proud of her, and the fact that she was able to bring Albany's Queen of Jazz, Lee Shaw, out to the rest of the world. That's part of the focus of the lab, is to help our filmmakers, our Northeast filmmakers, tell their stories as well as they can to reach as wide an audience. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what we'll be doing. The lab is broken up to panel discussions as well as one-on-one conversations that the filmmakers will have. Starts off with Elaine Babis. She's going to return from Utah with a panel discussion on the power of place in film. We're going to take a look at the movie Nebraska and how landscape plays a strong role in telling the story and advancing themes of age and generation. And this is helpful for a documentary filmmaker as well as a feature and a short filmmaker. Budgeting, Norman Burns is going to take us through the nuts and bolts for documentary and feature films. And Jan Cronenberg will assist us with scoring your way to success. Movie financing, that's what everybody needs to know, where to look for the gold today. Buffalo 8 will be on hand. They've done a number of films, and happy to meet them on a film that came through town, As You Are, which was shot here in Albany County, completed in a record pace. John appears in the film in a speaking role, and that film went on to garner the Sundance Jury Prize, Special Jury Prize in 2016. Donna was also on that. You built the set for the key scene, and it's riveting. And this is what little films can do when they have that right setting. That's another character, it's an element filmmakers don't often think about. We want to get into a discussion about casting, in particular casting in color, and why diversity matters. It was a big topic last year at the Oscars, right? This year and the last year. And then we're going to wrap up with, I would like to host a discussion, again, with our film commissioners from all around, how to unlock access to coveted locations. And I think we have a wealth of them here, and they're indie friendly, they're filmmaker friendly, and that's exciting, and the tax credits that filmmakers are still just discovering how they can help see a return on their investment. So with that, I'm excited to introduce the third edition Filmmakers Lab participants. These are the next wave of films in development, starting with John Lydon, who's a graduate of the College of St. Rose. His short, Answer to Prayer, chronicles the struggles of a 20-something diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma with a devotion to and love of his fiancée, Matt, is renewed to fight the illness. That's in post-production. Prince Sprav, his project, the Cradle Project. Janelle Moore depicts the traumatic experience of how she gave birth to her daughter in her 5th month of pregnancy at the age of 17. I saw some of that footage, and I'm really excited for the work that you're doing. Would you like to come up and say a few words about the project, where you're at, and
Sure.
your thoughts about the lab?
Thank you so much. First off, I would just like to give honor to Mike and Joe and everybody in their respective places for inviting me to this wonderful event. I'm personally excited about joining. This is my second film festival as an up-and-coming film director. I'm now also a film director. I'm also an executive director of a youth program called TBU Productions. TBU Productions stands for Told by Us. It's basically a youth program designed to allow teenagers to address social issues through the platform and use of film and music. And so Cradle really, here in Schenectady, we have a problem dealing with teenage pregnancy. And actually, we're second in the state for highest teenage pregnancy rates. So when you look at how teenage pregnancy is affecting taxpayers, affecting our graduation rate at high schools, I mean, the poverty level, it basically touches just about literally everything. And so what we did was we decided to actually use the community, use the talent right from the community to address their own issues by using film and music. So what we want to do is basically develop all of this media content and then transfer this media content into being a social media marketing campaign so that it's not just a film, but it becomes a movement. It becomes a movement that can be tangible to the community, whereas we can integrate a lot of these media projects into the health curriculum. We can hold forums, we can hold concerts, we can hold premieres and stuff like that, where we can actually address this issue and actually have the community own more accountability to this problem. Because it's not like we're gonna have somebody come from the outside and kind of address this issue. The community feels responsible, they're accountable to their own actions, and they want to address this using the best talent right here in Schenectady. Why do we have to go to LA to go get the best talent when we have the best talent right here in the capital region? And it kind of gets the community more invested into the project because they're involved. Their faces is up there, their avenues, their streets, their parents, their brothers, their sisters, their friends. And I actually produced a movie called Fast Life 3 years ago, which was my first movie. We actually, I produced that movie with 4 pieces of equipment and $1,000. We actually was able to raise $40,000 from that movie. I was actually able to leverage $150,000 from grants and stuff like that to launch the next project, which we're still raising funds and stuff like that. So Cradle really attacks and what we did was we identified the top leading causes of teenage pregnancy. And we took those causes and we turned them into storylines, into music and stuff like that. So everything that we do is based off facts, is based off research. We've collaborated with all of the health clinics, Planned Parenthood, Ellis Hospital, Women's Bellevue Hospital, every youth program that's in Schenectady, and basically collaborated all of our research along with the kids to address this issue of teenage pregnancy. And I'm excited to be a part of this this film lab because for several reasons. Number one, I didn't go to school for film. I don't have the pleasure of going to school, having that open network where I can meet a ton of filmmakers and network with people. But the idea that I can go somewhere right here local and meet a bunch of filmmakers, get tips on budgeting and how to manage that, those are difficult things that a lot of up and coming film directors struggle with. How do you manage a $500,000 film? I mean, for some that's small, but for somebody like me, that's pretty large, especially going from $1,000 to $500,000. So I mean, those aspects are very important, and I'm excited to be a part and really support anything that you guys are doing as far as film and stuff like that. I'm excited about your movement in any way that we can support, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Chris. Prince and I share something in common. I didn't go to film school either, but it was something that I wanted to pursue. My parents they didn't fully understand why I wanted to do this, but eventually they had to give in, and I think I'm winning. At least 20 years later, I'm still doing it. The next project, Gentrifying Sam, is from Hannah Sock of Highlands Falls, New York, based on an original screenplay with reverse Pygmalion plot about relationship between a New Yorker and the handyman of her second home in Hudson Valley. Excited to have Hannah. She also has a short film that'll be screening here. And she's the president of Uplift. Ice Eagles is a documentary from Tom Henderson, The Extraordinary History of U.S. Aviation in Antarctica, with over 70 subjects involved, including one 94-year-old veteran who happened to participate in the 1939-1941 U.S. Antarctic Service Expedition, accompanied by a wealth of original supporting documents, photos, and film. It's really fascinating to look at these projects at an early stage where you get a glimpse of the potential that they have. And they do need to be shaped and stewarded, forwarded. Jomalia, the Sacred Water, is a doc by Sailful Hellah. He's Bangladesh and Canadian. An intimate observation and exploration of the life and living of people in southwest coastal village of Bangladesh over a 6-year period. And this was an area that had been impacted by the tsunami, and so he's been documenting them for a number of years. The Guards is a feature film by producer Dmitry Perkolov of Moscow, and he'll be here with us. Set in a local Russian steel factory, Claudia attempts to stop a robbery attempt at the plant. After several months, Claudia's fellow female guards and stepfather, an ex-riverboat captain, notice signs of pregnancy. I just find it interesting that you start to see parallels in certain topics in terms of teenage pregnancy and this. So the synergy might be there to just swap ideas. The Hitchcock Murders is a screenplay from Andy Maycock. Andy teaches media at Guilderland High School. The screenplay is about the 1953 Los Angeles, a reluctant private eye stumbles into a multiple murder investigation with strange connections to the master of suspense himself, Alfred Hitchcock. This screenplay won the International Screenwriters Association Award at the Sundance 2016. As Joe said, we've got the talent, people are here, they're doing these things, they're being recognized. It really takes a lot to go from a screenplay to a feature film, but this is what the lab can help. Loose Wire, a documentary, is the story about how one man's passion for the arts electrified New York's capital. It's submitted by Carol Swire of Loudonville. It's about her father, Louis Swire. And there's a statue of Lou Swire downtown outside the mayor's office. It's an untold story, and I'm fascinated by that on one hand, as Prince told us, dealing with women in poverty and the pregnancy rate, and on the other hand, the story of Lou Swire, both can benefit from the lab, and they can all benefit our region in terms of understanding our, what we have here and the stories that can emanate from here. Quality Problems is a feature film that's coming from Los Angeles. Bailey and Drew Poster are your average American couple, 2 kids, 2 jobs, 1 dad with Alzheimer's, and 1 boob with cancer. With only 2 weeks till daughter Scout's 8th birthday, Bailey just wants to keep things off of her massive to-do list. It's a very touching film, and it's in post-production. They're looking for ideas on how best to market this film and pull it together. Somewhere Under the Rainbow is a novel submitted by Adele Saccarelli and Mike Cavallero out of Pennsylvania. Dottie reunites with her 3 classmates and their former grade school teacher, Marvel, who leads them home past their deepest, darkest nightmares. So there you have it. In addition to those, we have some various student projects that will be participating in the lab, and we're excited about that. The opening night film is The Good Mind with filmmaker Gwendolyn Cates. Gwendolyn returns to us after participating in the first edition, and this is a wonderful film that comes out of upstate central New York about the Haudenosaunee and just trying to find their voice, and they go very far to helping people better understand the history and the treaty that they made with the early settlers here, and their desire to help us preserve our environment, and so that we can all have clean water and clean air moving forward. And The Guards, as I mentioned, is by producer Dmitry Perkolov. And what's unique about this screening is that he's coming to look, even though it's a completed film, he's coming for that American audience experience. He wants our feedback, what works, what doesn't work. It'll be kind of like what the Hollywood studios do, which is a test screening, so they can get feedback and improve on his marketing and his ability to tell stories that can travel. And that's one of our goals, is to help filmmakers so their movies don't stay in a corner. There's a challenge with foreign films. They're subtitled, they're often told in a different way, and they don't work for some reason in the American audience. So they want to find out what can they do differently in the future. There's plenty of short films from a variety of different countries. I'll just hit on a couple. Life on the Run is, we'll see a segment of that from Roger Wyatt out of Saratoga. Roger Troscher is returning from Germany with his second film, with us anyway. That Sleepless Night is Hannah Soka's first film that's really beautifully shot. And as I mentioned, Daria from Kazakhstan, The Sky Over Berlin of my childhood, is just, I'm very happy and pleased to be able to bring these short films. And it's the synergy between the foreign filmmakers who will be coming with local filmmakers. I think it's a great opportunity for us to promote the region. So what's left is we are, just to let you know where we're going next as an organization, we're looking to build our board. We're looking to land 5 active board members by the end of 2016. We're looking for lodging for our visiting filmmakers. Those can be housed in a family's home. If you know of anyone, please let us know. We also have opportunities for sponsorship for small and corporate partners to help us provide travel expenses. When I was invited to Russia, the reason I went was because they sent me a stipend. They told me I would receive a stipend. I did receive that stipend, and it paid for a good chunk of my airfare. It was the reason why I came. So if we want to see more people discover upstate New York, this is what we're trying to do, is reach out and invite them here. So lots of great benefits, especially one thing we haven't talked about, Joe, is the mixers that we're going to have. I know Friday night in Albany on Central Ave, the Low Beat is going to be excited to, they're excited to host our after hours party, and then here we'll pick a spot downtown, so that's still up for grabs. It'd be a fun opportunity, I think, for any restaurant or establishment to host a bunch of filmmakers, creative types who'd like to take pictures of wherever they are. Yeah. So, any questions, comments? I thank you all for coming out and supporting us here today.